Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm going to recommend to you some of my favorite fall reads. I know this is towards the end of fall, but fall, technically, in my mind, still lasts until, what's the last day of November? Either 30 days or 31 days. The last day of November. And yes, I am in a new filming location. I have to figure out like the setup and how I like it and the lighting, and I know everything's kind of like right now, but I promise I will get on that. And yes, I will be filming a bookshelf tour. I'm not going to do it quite yet because, as I said, I have to like figure out how I want things and like where my knickknacks are supposed to go, and yeah, so I'm not quite ready for that, but I hopefully will have something like that up in like December or January. But before I just jabber on and go off on a tangent, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the recommendations. See, with me, what constitutes like a fall read, like something that feels like fall to me, is something that's like a little bit dark. Not in like the Halloween sense of dark, just not very lighthearted. I like stuff that has a little bit more meat to it. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to like pick up and physically show you the books, but I'm still reorganizing, so I don't really know where they all are. But the first book I would recommend is You by Caroline Kepnes? I think it's Kepnes. I have a review for this. Actually, I have a review for all of these books, and I will have them all links down there in the description because I can only put up to 5 cards here. So check down there if you are interested. You're reading from the perspective of, in my opinion, a sociopath, and yet you freaking like him, and it's so bizarre. I love what Caroline was able to do with like him as a character. Joe is who I'm talking about, the sociopath. I just love how the story went. It was very dark, very kind of like, I'll be watching you kind of thing, but I totally dug it. Digged it? Dug it? Whatever. And then to kind of do the typical like Halloween-ish, and I know it is past Halloween, but like I said before, I like stuff that's a little bit more dark. This one is probably the most lighthearted out of all of them that I'm going to tell you about, but it does like include vampires, so I don't know if you're like only until Halloween and after that, Christmas. So maybe you won't dig this so much. But Dead Until Dark by Charlaine Harris, it's the Sookie Stackhouse, or I think it's technically the Southern Vampire series. It's really lighthearted, very fun. It does have like that element of supernatural, so it has like werewolves, other things, vampires, stuff like that. And so if you just kind of like the paranormal, I guess, aspect of it, and that kind of includes your radar of dark, then I think you'll really dig it. I gotta stop saying dig. Megan, it's your fault. The next book I would recommend is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. This is a YA book. I am recommending a YA book on this channel. I can't remember the last time I read a YA book. I read that book, I was in high school. It's been a long time. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years, something like that. But it has like this element of creepiness because, and this is all from memory, I do have a review for this. This was one of my first reviews actually. Or did I only review the sequel? I don't know. But it's about this girl, Mara, who kind of loses her memory in some places. And it's a mystery. It's definitely a mystery. I think if you were a fan of Never Never, which I would actually kind of like low-key also mention to bring up, but I try not to recommend books that are in a series and I know that they end in cliffhangers. But yeah, it is YA. It doesn't feel very like juvenile in that way. I think it is more advanced in the YA spectrum, if that makes any sense. But before I just jabber on and make no sense, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is another YA. I know, shocking, don't worry, these are the only 2 YAs if you're not into that, because I think if I was recommended it, I still would be like, but I challenge you to go and read a summary and see if it like piques your interest. Maybe grab a sample on the Kindle. Go watch the television or the YouTube. I'm an old woman. But this one is Swoon by Nina Malkin. I freaking love this book. This is one of those I've actually gone back and I've read the sequel like in my, I feel weird saying like my adult life, but more current self. I've read the sequel. I don't like the sequel nearly as much as the first one, but then I went back and I was reading more of it. It is so good. I still to this day would go back and read that book and can be completely fine with it. It doesn't feel YA at all. There is like this whole mystery element to it, and it's very dark, and I think there is, oh, I remember, goblins. So Dice and her cousin Penelope, I think she goes by Pen, are climbing in this tree where Penelope's from. It's like during the summer and they're by this lake, I want to say. This is all from memory. And Penelope goes and is climbing up this tree and she ends up falling out. And like they think she's dead. Like she falls really awkwardly and it's just not right. But I think when she was in the tree, she made like this, I don't know, weird possessed kind of thing where it made Dice believe that she was possessed. And when she fell out of the tree, she was okay, but she wasn't acting like herself. And so there's kind of like this element of what the fuck is going on? And then if you like are familiar with like goblin mythology and stuff, then they actually like raise a goblin, but it's not like, it's like an actual person, but it just kind of has to behave by the rules of a goblin. It's so interesting. I'm making it sound so bad. I do have a review for this. I warn you. This was like, how old must I have been? 18-year-old Hannah Banana. I was very excited about everything. The next book I'm going to recommend is Marrow by Tarryn Fisher. As always when I recommend this book, I recommend reading Mudvayne before Marrow. They are two separate things, but there is a cameo of a few characters from Mudvayne that pop up in Marrow, and you'll just get more out of that aspect of Marrow if you have read Mudvayne first. Why I'm choosing not to recommend Mudvayne is because, hint hint, if you stuck around this long, I want to include that in my winter reads. Just, well, if you read the book, you understand why. So Margot, our protagonist, has grown up and is still living in this place called The Bone. It's this very, I think the word's derelict area. It's very impoverished, and she lives with her mother who doesn't speak to her ever. She doesn't know who her father is. She doesn't talk to anybody, but then she meets her neighbor Judah, and she kind of gets this friendship with him. And then there's this little girl that goes missing. Her name is Nevaeh, and Margot is just so upset with this that little girls like her just go missing in a place like that. And because of Nevaeh's kidnapping, Margot kind of gets this fire lit in her to uncover what's happened. And at first it starts off with just kind of avenging Nevaeh, and it grows into something so much more, and you're in her head the whole time, and she's a little crazy. But yet you can justify everything that she does along with her, but then at the same time you're like, but this isn't right. But it's just this really cool back and forth. It challenges you to think in different ways, and that's what I love so much. That's why I really liked You as well, because you're in the head of someone that's, you know, not quite right, yet you can justify everything they do, or even root for them if you can't justify. You know what I mean? It's just really challenging for your mind, and I love books like that. So that is about it for this video, and if you have any other suggestions for tags or videos that you would like to see me do, then please leave those down there in the comments. And if you're interested in seeing this makeup look, or you have a question about what lipstick I'm wearing, I have an entire video on it listed over on my other channel. Hopefully it will be up by now. If not, I will happily answer like lipstick questions or whatever questions you have about my makeup down there in the description in the meantime. But I will see you guys later next time on Bookworms Talk. Bye! Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I'm going to film the How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days tag. I created this with my friend Desiree from Unbound Book Reviews.